So I'm out here working and doing a little bit of DoorDash and whatnot. And I noticed as somebody who learned to, let me get some better light, learn to live their life in a way that's not different from anyone else on a physical level, because I do have physical limitations in my body. Like I can only use my left hand right now. I mean, my right hand. And I got limited strength in my left leg. But I can say, once I realized some things, it didn't stop me from doing anything that I wanted to do in life. Of course, I played victim in the beginning of my story, being unaware. But after I noticed mindset is everything, it don't have to be like that. It really doesn't. So no matter what happens to you, it's not really the situations that determines the way you live the rest of your life. What determines the way you live the rest of your life is what you do with it. And that's the biggest thing. It doesn't matter if you got shot, if you got in a car accident, if you got cheated on, somebody left you, you were born in poverty. Like we see it all the time. The story of the person that's born in poverty but ends up making tens of millions of dollars. They were abused. Like none of it matters. None of it. What matters is what you do with it. What's my story? So when I was 17, a car ran over my head. It didn't pop, but I lost a lot. Like I graduated, or that was a year before I was supposed to graduate. That didn't happen the way I planned it to. I played the victim for a while. I cried, I bitched, I screamed, I moaned, I fought it. I wasn't happy with myself. I tried suicide. I probably shouldn't have said that for YouTube. But yeah, I tried, I played the victim, and it doesn't work. The victim role does not work. It doesn't. You'll get sympathy from some people, maybe family, strangers, but the sympathy doesn't help you. If anything, all the people at that time in my life who didn't show me too much sympathy, empathy is fine, that's understanding, but the ones that didn't show me too much sympathy were the ones that helped me the most. Shout out to my dad on that one. Because when everybody else was babying me and, oh, let me do this for you, let me help you with that, let me help you with this, like he was the one that stood up and fought everybody and was like, no, don't help him, let him figure it out. And even if I was salty a little bit at the time, I mean, it turned out to be a huge blessing, because all the help that I was getting, especially if it was too much, was a handicap. It was all a handicap. And when I finally started to figure things out for myself, I figured out how to put my shirt on. I figured out how to transfer from a wheelchair to the bed, or from the wheelchair to a couch, or to the floor, and all those things. I figured it out. And even, that's when I started to become self-sufficient in life. And I didn't want help anymore. I didn't want a lot of help, because figuring things out gave me a lot of pride in myself. I felt good about myself. Like I can handle anything. In fact, when the insurance stopped wanting to keep me in rehab and kicking me out and only giving me this much physical therapy, I took things into my own hands. And I said, I'm going to figure this thing out. And at one of my lowest points in my life, I decided a simple decision. I said, no matter, I'm not going to live life limited. I'm not going to lose to this thing. I'm not going to be a burden on my family. I'm going to get out of this wheelchair. I'm going to graduate high school on time. I'm not going to be late just because this thing happened. And people thought I was crazy. They didn't. Of course, I think they saw the determinism in me, but I think they were still doubting. Like, they didn't really know if it was possible. But I made the decision. That's what I wanted. So fast forward, I did graduate on time. I said I didn't want to grab my high school diploma in a wheelchair. I wanted to walk across the stage, and I made that happen. I said I was going to get out of a wheelchair. Therapy wasn't helping, so I made that happen myself by discipline every day doing the same thing. I got myself out of the wheelchair, and many more stories of how I drove to different states, how I traveled to different states and went on a journey, and I still live my life the way that I wanted to live it, because it was the decision. So it doesn't matter if I only have use of one arm or one hand, or I'm not in a wheelchair, I walk with a cane, but I even made that work for me. Like, I embraced the cane, and what happened? People started to see me as this cool character. I became a cool character, not because I resisted the cane or I felt like I was less because I had a cane. No, I bought me a cool cane that had like a lion head on it. And yeah, not to make this too long, but I want to just tell you guys, you can adapt to any situation, anything. It doesn't matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter what you've been through. And regret is just a waste of time. So anybody out there who's going through something, just make the decision. You're going to make it work for you. It's only a burden if you see it as a burden. It's only going to hold you back if you let it hold you back. But I'm going to tell you, 10 times out of 10, it's all perspective. 9 times out of 10, the situation is something that can work for you and be a net positive. So I was inspired to get out my car while picking up these orders. Oh, these restaurants behind me. And when the inspiration hits, you gotta do it. Because waiting, it'll disappear. Peace.